Our next speaker is Rhonda Bowen. She is a global strategic communication guide with over 30 years' experience in communicating across cultures. As an American who has lived in Germany since 1983, she has worked with people from more than 70 countries, 70 countries right there. Her business, established in 1988, has brought insights and support to thousands of best professionals. That's business, engineering, science, and technology. And she supports these clients in becoming more effective and efficient in their communication across cultures, not only refer to nationalities, but increasingly the difference between various areas within organization. And she collaborates with her clients. She's got fantastic programs. And I want to bring her up here and spotlight her because I want Rhonda to tell you a little bit more about in her voice what she does. She is a great person that I have met and glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Wonderful introduction. Really appreciate the chance to be here today. I'm always the person in the world who is not like everybody else. I love listening to Mike. I couldn't come earlier. Sorry. It's a whole different time of day in my world and I had other things to do, but I'm really looking forward to being with you today because I don't have any slides. I don't have anything that I'm offering to you in specific to do. What I want to do is to help you discover what it is you need to be doing with AI. I am one of those people who is now 66 years old and did not grow up with anything like a computer or a phone or anything you could carry around with yourself. But I believe in my heart that we are in the best time in the whole world of all the times that have ever happened to be in the place where we are, because what AI is affording us, what AI is opening up to the world, to us, is something absolutely magnificent. And I did the first big step in my journey last summer. I went to Geneva, Switzerland, and there the United Nations for the past 7 years has had a summit which they call AI for Good. And it is the most wonderful place to be. There were more than 80 people and companies making exhibitions on all kinds of great things that are happening with AI. And I don't know what kind of news you're getting and the things that you're hearing about where you are, but unfortunately, I'm hearing an awful lot of terrible things about AI and all the things that can go wrong and all the things that are really crazy. And yes, there are always those things. If we all think back to the times when everybody went to anywhere they wanted to go and rode on a horse or was in a horse and with a carriage, and we all went places with a horse, and there are wonderful pictures you can find online where there's a street in New York City and they're all horses and carriages and there's one car. And 12 years later, there's a picture of the exact same street with all cars and one horse and carriage. That took 12 years. AI is not going to take 12 years. AI is going much faster than that. But it is giving us those opportunities to move forward. And as people, we're always moving forward. Sometimes we don't realize it, and sometimes we just don't know exactly what it is we need to help us move forward. And that's why I said when I was talking to Nicole, and she and I had never met before, we started working on this. So it's a wonderful place to get into touch with new people, but also to see, let's look into what it is that you're actually looking for with AI, because being somebody who's curious, as Mike mentioned before, and that's a very important thing. I've come up with this formula that I call CAPA, CAPA. And CAPA, if you think about those four letters, are the first four letters in the word capacity. What is it that you already understand? What is it that you know about? What are the things that you already do? But of course, what is the capability you need? What are the things you want to be doing, the things you want to use to move yourself forward? And both of those words start with CAPA. So I've put together just a short overview of what those four words could mean, among others, and have us to have a real discussion there. There are no slides today. This is for us to sit down and just talk. And whether you're on camera or not, whether you'd like to just unmute and speak, or whether you prefer to write in the chat, I'll totally leave that up to you. But CAPA for me the C stands for compose. If you think of somebody who composes music, for example, Music is made up a number of things. There are the individual notes, there are different voices, there are different instruments, there are rhythms, there are all kinds of things that you put all of this together and you get the wonderful music that you like to listen to, whatever kind of music that is and what it does. So when we're doing things with AI, we first of all have to think about how are we going to compose what we need? How do we find all those things and bring them together so that everybody that's involved in this, like we all are today in this summit, how do we actually benefit from that? And how do we bring the right pieces together? That's the compose part. Then we have the A, which is augment. Augment means to make something better. And that's exactly what AI is doing for us at the moment. It's not only AI for good, as the United Nations says, but it's AI for better. What can we do better if we use the wonderful tools that AI gives us to make sure that we can improve on what we're doing in our own personal lives, in our business lives, in the impact that we're making on the world? P stands for produce. So once you've figured everything out and you've figured out what you would like to make better, what are you actually going to produce with this? What are you getting out of things with AI that maybe you personally could have never done? I'm doing things now with AI that I didn't even know existed, let alone whether I could ever do them or not. So we're getting the opportunity to produce things, to make those good things happen in our lives so that we can also move forward and say, yes, this is something that AI is helping me with. After we've got everything together, after we figured out what we want to improve, now we actually produce what that is. And once we've produced something, we have to make sure that the fourth A is how do we align? How does this come into play with other things we're doing? I was speaking to someone the other day and he said to me, Rhonda, I don't know if I will ever get into all of this AI stuff. And I said, what do you mean? It's a client, I've known him for years. And he said, sometimes I just prefer to go out and take a walk or go fishing or something. And I said, it doesn't mean that you have to give up doing things with AI because you want to go out and take a walk or go fishing. How do we align those things? How do we take the things that we already do and that we already love and that are helping the other people in our lives? And how do we align that with all the things that we're now getting from AI? So, what do we have as our own capacity? What do we already have now that we're working with? And what can we use with AI to build on the capabilities? What are the things that we can do better or do more of based on that? And I am running sessions at the moment with a global group of people where we just sit down and we look at the values that we have and how AI can help us with those things. And then we move forward and say, how is that excuse me, how is that improving our impact? What is it that we're actually doing in the world? And how can AI help us with that? And what we do in those sessions, and I'd love to try this with you today as well, is to say, what is it that you're looking for or looking at with AI? What is going on with you and AI? What have you missed? Or what is it that you're interested in? Because if Nicole gives me the option to share my screen, I would just love to go on and show you something and work through it a little with you just to give you an idea of how you can put things together, how it improves, what you can produce from it, and what the alignment is. Yeah. Does anybody have something where they said, oh, I've always wanted to think about that with AI, or somebody mentioned it to me, but I don't really understand it, or I'd just like to find something out? You can either unmute if you'd like to, go ahead. And if not, you can write something in the chat. And if not, I will just pull something up and we can look through it and see what it was. The A was augment. So it's compose, augment, produce. And the fourth one is align, to get everybody in alignment. So the people plus the AI plus all the things that are coming out of it. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, Jeffrey, please.
Okay,
There you
thanks,
go.
Rhonda. Thanks. So my question is, I've seen some discussions about using AI as a detriment to us building our business, and that AI, I'm trying to really recall the specific post and connections with this question that I have, because I'm trying to do some research on it. I haven't really found much
Okay.
about it, but there's going to be things out there that will go out to your website and to your posts and things like that, and essentially catch you using AI and either deleting it or flagging it, so forth and so on. Have you heard any of this in your research with different AI tools? And if hopefully that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense very much. I don't know it with a specific AI tool where they are going onto your posts and things, although I can show you something where we can look for that. The thing I do know about is I'm working on producing a compilation book with over 300 people. And when I was talking to a lady who would possibly be helping me with the publishing, she told me this. She said, make sure that if you have all these people coming and writing, each of them writing a page in the book, the most important thing you have to remember is Amazon, if you want to publish on Amazon and have a Kindle edition and all those things, if you want to do that, Amazon has a tool that it uses to take look at every single bit of text that comes in on a book, and it's allowed to be AI assisted, but it's not allowed to be AI generated. And if it's AI generated, the whole thing comes specifically from whatever AI tool you're using, and they notice that the book will not be published. End of story. So that's the only thing I personally have any contact with at the moment because it's what I'm working on in my life. And as much as I love AI and as much as I tell people every time they submit a page for the book, I say, if you have AI generated content in there, our entire book will die. So that's the most negative thing that I personally have heard about, Jeff. But
Yeah.
tell me more about what you're looking into, and maybe we can go online and check on that.
I think if it's 100% created by AI, I understand that. I think a lot of people, as because I'm a contributing author to several digital magazines, and I use AI to help recraft some of my key points and take a paragraph. I write this. What's a better way of saying this? And they just change some of the verbiage and the sequence of the paragraph to make it much more clearer and reader friendly, if you will. So
Yes.
something like that, is that a detriment to people who are co-authoring or writing articles?
The way that I understand, I haven't spoken to anyone at Amazon in person, so I can only say what I'm getting from all the information they're putting up online, is that they're saying AI assisted is okay. And my definition, my personal definition of assisted, what you just actually
That you
shared
said,
with us,
okay,
which I thought was great. AI generated means you put in 2 words and it writes the whole page. And
exactly.
that's what they will refuse. That's what the way I understand all the guidelines I've read online. As I said, I haven't spoken with anyone at Amazon yet, but when it gets to that point, I will definitely be doing that before I submit anything.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for the response. Appreciate it.
Yeah. The other thing to remember when we're thinking about this, I spoke to somebody the other day, and there's all this fear about what's going on with AI, which there's always been a lot of fear with a lot of things in the world. And somebody said to me, yeah, but Rhonda, isn't that terrible if you use AI, all the fake stuff and all the whatever? And I said, yeah, that all exists. Sure. And I said, do you use the internet? Sure. Of course I use the internet, Rhonda. The internet's great. I said, yeah. And I said, what about the darknet? Oh, no, Rhonda, I have nothing to do with the darknet. I said, are you sure? And this person looked at me. I have a scan running every month, and I've been on the darknet at least 3 times that's been found. But I don't stop using the internet just because I've been brought up by somebody, those 3 corp companies were that were on the darknet. I've gone in, I've changed all my passwords, I've done all the things. You can't get away from it. There's a thing called the universal law of polarity where there's something good, there's something bad. And if we're going to look at all the wonderful things that AI can do for us, and there are so many of them, as I said, when I was in Geneva last year, it was absolutely fantastic. But when you've got the good things, you got the light and the shadow, always. Yeah. And we just have to keep that in mind.
Right.
and see what's going on. Great. Thank you so much. Anyone else have an idea or a question or something they'd like to look at together online?
I use AI as a digital assistant. In fact, I'm a ghostwriter and I've written several books about AI, and that's something that I stressed in the books is AI is great as an assistant, and the world will become made up of digital employees and human employees. And you, an accountant or a writer or whatever you are, you'll have basically digital employees who help you out.
Mhm.
And that's the way to use AI. You don't write articles for it. Certainly you can, and certainly they'll turn out okay to a certain extent.
Okay.
It's perfect for writing copy and then tweaking it a little bit, or for something fast, but obviously for a customer, you'd have to be insane to use AI to write stuff that you're selling to a customer. And a lot of these low-end ghostwriting companies, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Write it and tweak it. And that's how they're able to keep the rates down.
Mhm.
But I don't use it for that. I have used it to write a whole book, and it got wonky. Man, that book it was a fiction book, and it went off in all kinds of directions that I didn't expect. It was an experiment.
Yeah.
It got wild, multiple universes and all kinds of stuff I didn't anticipate going off here and there. And okay,
Great.
well, Mr. AI, or Mrs. AI, or whatever, you've got quite an imagination.
Think back when we first started hearing things about AI and how they hallucinated. The classic thing someone told me once, yeah, I asked AI for 5 book titles about topic X. And all these book titles came up, but none of those books had ever been written. They were just book titles.
Yeah,
We asked for book titles. We didn't ask for book titles of books that have been published in the last 5 years or something.
when I asked it to write my profile once, it turned out that I had 2 wives and 16 children and all kinds of stuff. And no,
Yeah. That's hallucination. That's the official term for that. And
I
yes,
know.
it
I
still
know.
happens. Yeah.
If you want to see a great movie, watch Colossus: The Forbin Project. It's from the 1970s.
Oh,
And you get to see an AI that's the size of a mountain that is built using vacuum tubes and magnetic tapes and teletypes, overtaking the world like Terminator. And
mhm.
it is for the time, it's an awesome movie and it's fun to watch, even though it's really dated.
Yeah.
Um, but they also have force fields and laser guns. So it's really weird how they have this mix of technology. It's a fun movie to watch if you can find it. It's out of print, but I'm sure I got mine off eBay.
Wonderful. Okay.
It should work.
This is the thing that I would love to share. If you haven't seen this yet, this is my way to keep my sanity. When I first found this website about 2 years ago, there were 13,000 tools on it. There are now almost 32,000 tools on it. And so when you're looking for something, I'll put it in the chat in a moment. When you're looking for something and you have no idea what it is and what it could be called, let's look at tool delete information from social media posts. So I'm just taking the comment that was made before and just putting it in here, and now we watch what happens. So you have all kinds of different things up here to show you what this is. And then you have, fortunately, by many of these, you not only have the name, but you also have comments from people that have used it. And you have other varieties of things, and you can see a lot of what's going on. And you get lots of extra things, because what I find in AI that is really helpful for me more than anything else is I start with something and AI comes up with all these related things that I didn't know about or never have heard of. So you go through this page, and then if that wasn't what you were doing, these are things that are somehow associated with that. So if you didn't write it in a way that was easy for the AI to find, then it gives you other options for you to look at. So if there is nothing else in the world that you should take from today, it should be, and I'm putting it in the chat, that if you don't know where to go to this, because it gives you all kinds of things. And every single time I go into it, there are more things on it. So it's constantly updating and getting better. And so I'd love to share that with you today. The other thing that I would love to say in closing is, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm very grateful to have a chance to have met you all. Also, those of you who couldn't be with us live today and supporting us, but are watching us on the replay as well. Nicole has put in the chat a link for you to go to a tool that's called a Score app, which also is integrated with AI. And it gives you some information on things that we're doing with AI at the moment. You can go in and fill in your information. You'll be taken to a page where you can actually go in and see the monthly calls that we have and join our group for free. We'd love to have you there. And Nicole, if you would put in the link to the Score app again, because you just did it, but I've lost it now. Too many wonderful things in the chat. Then people will have the chance to get in touch later. You can find me on LinkedIn as well if you'd like to do that. But if you reach out to us through the Score app, then we get an opportunity to get into contact and find out exactly what it is that you're looking for. You also have a chance at the end of that to set up a call if you'd like to come and actually talk about the specific things that would be helpful for you with AI. Thank you so much for being here today or watching the replay, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Interesting, Rhonda. And that's what I was saying earlier is having this conversation with you and connecting with you. And obviously your experience shines through. And it's so great to have you here joining us today at Hacking the Matrix. And the reason is you provide powerful tools for people to find solutions and AI for good. Who would have thought we would be looking at AI for good these days? And it is great to see that for business owners and for coaches and for authors, which is many of the audience here. What can they do with AI? And to know that no, the robots are not taking over the world. All your information, Rhonda, will be in the email, the follow-up. Anybody has any last questions, you can always pop them in the chat for Rhonda or connect with her. Thank you so much.
Thank you.